the new gold standard for migration and offshoring. Today we discuss now we have a new player on the offshore passport migration world and comes it can be another that Donald Trump himself. He proposed a new Trump Gold Card that, of course, talking about the green card in the US, we're going to explain a little bit later. And now we have the newest addition for the legal migration worldwide, and is this particular new process, new migration process, basically a golden visa, actually. That's what it is, what is known on this industry. And it's actually very interesting, first coming from Trump himself, because basically his political views and his political capital is anti-migration, international affairs. But right now, actually, he came up with this creative new way of migrating to the United States, and is basically a green card in exchange of a lump sum, a fee for the state of 5 million US dollars. So today we are going to discuss on the basis of this particular new system, new process, and how fares compare to their counterparts all over the world. So let's start. So this new migration program is called the Trump's Gold Card, that will be the equivalent of a green card in the US. In case you don't know, the green card is the permanent residency. That's what you get when you, of course, fulfill a particular criteria in order to be a permanent resident in the United States that we discussed here several times. That is a draconian and medieval process in order to get there. But indeed, we have this new option. This particular procedure, the gold card, is an investment of 5 million US dollars that you deliver directly to the US government. According to Trump himself, it will serve in order to pay the national debt that in the US is around 36 trillion US dollars. That's over 100% of their GDP, but we're not going to get into the economics of that. Is, of course, a pathway for wealthy internationals that wants to migrate legally to the United States. It will replace the program that is known as the EB-5. We have discussed here on the channel what an EB-5 visa is. It's an investor visa. It will be the US equivalent of a golden visa, and it requires an investment. It has to pass the lower end is on around 800,000, and the high end is a little bit over 1 million US dollars. But it comes with some caveats. First, you have to invest in projects that first you need to generate around at least 10 jobs and maintain 10 jobs with your particular investment. The lower end, the 800,000 one, is for particular locations, depressed locations in the US economically, rural areas, small towns, underdeveloped cities, places like that. Now, with this new Golden Card program, they are replacing the EB-5, according to Trump, and also is that particular requirement of generating 10 jobs or maintaining 10 jobs during 5 years, that is completely stripped down, and so doesn't require investing on a particular project or infrastructure. Is just a lump sum payment to the US government and has no strings attached regarding a particular investment within the United States, which I think it's good if you are the applicant of this particular program, if you are interested, but it's actually not as great for the average US citizen, and I'm going to explain that a little bit later. And the other thing is regarding the vetting process that right now is unspecified. The Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick, he mentioned that he wants exceptional individuals, and it's going to be a vetting process regarding if the particular individual is not a national security threat or something like that, and supposedly the means or the sources of income and wealth from this particular applicant, the potential applicant, come from legal ways. Now, let's talk about the implementation on such program. First, we have to discuss that, according to Trump, the rollover is going to start on around 2 weeks, so seems pretty fast. Well, Trump is, doing everything on a faster pace. But according to some legal experts in the United States, it needs some approval from Congress regarding new migration paths. Let's see, according to Trump, doesn't require that. Well, I'm not a US lawyer, and I'm not a lawyer, so I wouldn't say. So let's see what happens with the federal judges or Congress, something like that, if it's going to go through. And the other thing is, it will lead to a path to citizenship on 5 years, which I think that for the price tag of this particular program, it seems a lot because, I mean, if you are paying for this right now, will be by far the most expensive migration program in the whole world, but by far, and you get the citizenship on 5 years. I mean, I don't see the ROI. Well, and the other thing is regarding taxes, that according to Trump, there are going to be some tax breaks or maybe not paying taxes. So we have to see on that. Is the United States? I don't see it, as feasible because that can change. I mean, maybe Trump is being honest, could be, that the applicant is not going to pay taxes, but let's say in 4 years or 8 years, a Democrat comes again to the White House, can say otherwise, or Congress can say otherwise as well. So we'll see. It's a gamble if you're looking for a tax haven or something like that. Now let's talk about the potential candidates. Funny thing though, Trump was asked this week regarding this program, and he mentioned, he was asked that if Russian oligarchs can apply to this particular program, and he says that I love Russian oligarchs, very good people, very nice people, that he knows some people, some Russian oligarchs. But same thing with Chinese billionaires, people like that. Well, there are two things regarding the potential applicants for this program. The first thing, this is just my rough estimation. It has a market that's a given. Trump mentioned 10 million potentially applicants for this program, and that will pay the whole national debt. That I think, on financial sense, is actually a good idea. But 10 million, I don't see it. The people with the net worth that has a bunch of liquidity, and they are motivated to invest $5 million on a U.S. residency. So that's the first thing. On my estimation, is around 100,000 millionaires outside of the United States that can cover this particular requirement, and also they are motivated to make such investment on this particular gold card. This is just my estimation. Maybe some colleague has a different number. I think that will be the ballpark, not necessarily an accurate number. Now, here's the second thing, and this is something that we explain a lot here on this platform. Outside of the United States, most of the millionaires, the rich people, the successful people, they are not like in the US, people like Jeff Bezos and Elon Musk and Bill Gates and Zuckerberg, people like that. Outside of the US, becoming a millionaire is next to impossible. Of course, statistically is very difficult anywhere in the world, but in the US is the easiest place where you can become a millionaire, and in a handful of other countries. And of course, in the US, you can become a millionaire, I said this many times, just following a particular path and then doing the 401k, RIA, the building equity through real estate, things like that. The rest of the world doesn't work like that. You have to very, 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 very special and very, very, very lucky. So what happens is most of the millionaires outside of the United States are either old money or corrupt politicians, successful dealers. You catch my drift. So what will happen is that from this particular, let's say, 100,000 potential applicants, according to my estimation, 80% of those applicants will be either old money or they will be dirty money. Corrupt politicians, dealers, people like that. Now, the key element of this particular program, no one is talking about it, is how the vetting process is going to work. Because I know the vetting process in the US, and usually it's very thorough and it's very specific and very demanding. You need to get a bunch of paperwork. And also the US has a lot of overreach on other countries, financial system, things like that. Very good. Now, if they do the due diligence and they are committed that they don't want dirty money, people, corrupt people, things like that, they are gonna turn down a lot of applications. Maybe half of those applications will be rejected. And I think it's a good thing that those applications should be rejected. But let's see. So the key element of this program will be the morality of the vetting process in order to get such gold card. And the second issue is, and that affects you, the average American citizen, is that something yet again that I explained about the, let's just for the sake of conversation, legal money and not so legal money. Yet again, most of the millionaires outside of the United States, and I'm going to be generous today, and I'm going to say it's like 25, 30%, and I'm being generous. They are, self-made entrepreneurs and investors, people who work very hard and defy all odds and become very, 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 very successful. Okay, the other 75% is people that either are old money or they are, again, corrupt politicians, people like that. So what happens is that the first group, the 25%, and I'm being generous just for the sake of the conversation, people that create value. They are serial entrepreneurs, so they are going to get their money, they're going to pay their lump sum to the US government, they're going to reach a particular market in the US, and they're going to they're going to create jobs because they have this entrepreneurial mindset, and they're going to be valuable contributors to society overall. So, and on that regard, very cool. You're going to get very cool new neighbors. However, what happens is with the other 75%, this is just a mere speculation regarding the number, but not the traits of these people. They are not entrepreneurial, they are not serial entrepreneurs, they are not value creators. The old money is a value administrator at best and value destroyer at worst. Actually, many times the corrupt politicians are the main reason why their home countries are poor on the first place, because they destroy the value of society. These people don't know anything about finances and business and marketing and creating value to society, offering goods and services. No, no, no. People, what they know is just using coercion and, let's say, force and iron fist in order to basically take other people's money. So what happens is that they get a lot of money that they didn't took a risk, took a shot, anything like that. They just have a bunch of money and they spend it like there is no tomorrow. So these people are gonna reach, and right now I said this many times here on the platform, cities like Miami. You see them a lot in Miami. And what they do is everything that you see is very, very expensive. Let's say you live in Miami, saying this, I have given this example on the past regarding Miami, that you, let's say, make $200,000 per year, and you make, you're doing good, you're making some cash over there, and you see, restaurants are very pricey, like $1,000 in order to dine on a restaurant, and properties that are luxurious but cost like 10, 20 million US dollars, or VIP bottle services. The main reason why those places are very, very expensive, even for successful people within those cities, is because these rich people, usually rich kids or corrupt politicians, people like that, they arrive to your city and they overspend because they don't care about money, because they just take it from someone else. They are not entrepreneurs that work very hard in order to get that money. For them, making money is very easy because they got it from someone else, using coercion methods, or they just didn't make the money. I mean, they didn't, how hard, they don't know how hard making, let's say, an honest buck it is. So the end result is that a handful of people, if this particular project goes on the worst case scenario with little, let's say, a very loose betting process, so they are going to make even more expensive your hometown. And I think in cities like Miami, if that happens on the worst case scenario with regarding the betting process, what I see happening is the cities, Miami can become the most expensive city in the world, but by a mile, because most of these millionaires are gonna move to Miami. Mark my words. And of course, they're gonna go to other places like New York, Los Angeles, places like that, but Las Vegas. But Miami is by far my number one, just because I know these people. I know how they think. Okay. And so that will be bad for you because they're going to pay their 5 million, because of course it's easy for them. They basically control the treasury of their home countries. The reason why those countries are poor in the first place, they take it from the average people, they give it to the US government, the US government just take it, and then they overpay for real estate, they overpay for restaurants, they overpay for luxury shopping, things like that. So at the end of the day, that is going to affect the average citizen on a handful of cities, and number one will be Miami. Now, final thoughts regarding this particular new program is that it's a great idea. Actually, shout out to you, President Trump. Is actually, I think, is a step towards the right direction. It's a new option. I like options. It's an interesting project. Actually, I hope it happens and goes through. However, the things that I don't like, the price tag is too expensive for my taste. I don't think it doesn't give you, ROI if you're looking for another passport or another residency. It's by far the most expensive program in the world by a mile, and it doesn't give you the ROI. I wouldn't recommend it to anyone, not even people who are looking to move to the US. But if you have the means and you are willing to do so, well, just go ahead. Nothing against that. I think it's a very good thing that we have more options like this in the future. And the other thing is that, yet again, overpriced. For instance, The Malta passport is around $1 million, and you get it within a year. And also you have several golden visa options in Europe, and there are several hundred thousands of euros. And they give you a decent rate of return. But yet again, I think it's overall, I mean, it's positive. It's a good news. It's a positive news for everyone involved. Just these couple of things. I think the price tag is too high. It's too expensive, and also depending on the vetting process, that's the other tricky thing. And also you have to add how the tax system, how the people or the applicants of this program will be taxed after they are approved.
Thank you for watching Continental Insider. Please like, share, and subscribe. Follow us on social media. And if you want to work with us, continentalinsider.com. Thanks again, and have a nice day.